Some quite famous people have been making some quite public statements about the potential dangers of artificial intelligence recently. First of all, there was Elon Musk, who said that artificial intelligence could potentially be as dangerous as nuclear weapons. Since then, Bill Gates and Stephen Hawking have also chimed in. So what's all the fuss about? What are they all worried about? Well, today we're going to ask ourselves the question, will the emergence of artificial intelligence mean the end of the world as we know it? So what's all the fuss about? In a nutshell, they've all been reading a book by Nick Bostrom, an Oxford professor of philosophy who wrote a book called Superintelligence, Paths, Dangers, Strategies, which outlines the dangers and possible strategies for dealing with very sophisticated artificial intelligence. Ever since the dawn of the computer age, authors and scientists and philosophers and movie makers have been talking about artificial intelligence in one form or another. In the 1960s and 1970s, we were told that we were just one step away from making a computer that can think. Now, obviously that didn't happen. And in all fairness, today's AI experts are less specific about when the problems of creating an AI will be solved. They are also more circumspect about what AI actually means. Artificial intelligence, it seems, is a pretty hard thing to define. It certainly isn't just knowledge. When talking about AI, people start to use words like self-awareness, sentience, abstract thinking, understanding, consciousness, mind, learning, and intuition. The subject of general intelligence and artificial intelligence is obviously quite emotive, and it's certainly profound. That's why the AI community has come up with 3 specific words to help define what they mean by artificial intelligence. Those words are weak AI, strong AI, and artificial superintelligence. Artificial super, what did I just say? Okay, we might need to take a step back here and define these terms properly. So a weak AI is a system that can simulate or imitate intelligence. However, at no point does it actually have a mind or self-awareness. At no point do its creators claim that it has a mind or self-awareness. For example, when I was 10 or 11 years old, my grandfather wrote a chatbot on a microcomputer. I was able to type in sentences and it would reply with intelligent and even witty different comments. And that was amazing for an 11-year-old, and really you couldn't even consider it to be weak AI. However, if you multiply that up by several factors of magnitude, you start to get the idea of what I'm talking about. When we talk to our smartphones, when we say, "OK Google," and then ask it a question about the weather or about the sports scores, that's weak AI. Now multiply that again by several factors of magnitude and you'll get an understanding of where things are going and what we could even achieve within the next few years. Weak AI can be divided into 2 specific groups: generalized AI and specific, narrow AI. Now, the narrow, weak AI that we see today is the kind of programs that can beat chess masters, or the kind of program that IBM built with its Watson system when it was able to play Jeopardy and beat the champions at their own game. Now, if you imagine that in the future we could take those specific narrow systems and combine them into a more general system, then that is generalized weak AI. So that was weak AI. What is strong AI? Strong AI is a theoretical computer system that actually has a mind. To all intents and purposes, it's the same as a human in terms of understanding, in terms of free will, in terms of sentience, in terms of consciousness. It doesn't simulate consciousness, it has consciousness. It doesn't simulate free will, it has free will, and so on. Now, when science fiction writers and philosophers talk about AI, they generally mean strong AI. The HAL 9000 was strong AI. The Cylons are strong AI. Skynet was strong AI. The robots in Asimov's stories are strong AI. The computers that run the Matrix are strong AI, and so on. Now, the thing about strong AI is that it can perform artificial intelligence research itself. That means it can create a better version of itself, one that's more intelligent, one that's faster, or it can upgrade itself to be more intelligent and more faster. That means it can grow, and that's what people are worried about. So assuming that it is possible to create strong AI and that it has the same general level of intelligence as a human, and assuming it then performs artificial intelligence research itself and grows, This will eventually lead to the emergence of artificial superintelligence, an artificial intelligence that is far superior than a human in terms of its speed and in terms of its intelligence. It will be able to solve problems in order of magnitude much faster than any human can. It will be super intelligent. In his book on artificial superintelligence, Nick Bostrom talks about what the emergence of an ASI will mean for us. If we are unable to restrain an ASI, what will be the outcome? As you can imagine, parts of the book talk about the end of the human race as we know it. The idea, of course, is that there will be a thing called a singularity, a major event that changes the course of the human race, and that can include extinction. He also covers things that we should be doing now to make sure that this singularity never happens. This is why Elon Musk says things like, "I'm increasingly inclined to think that there should be some regulatory oversight, maybe at the national and international level, to make sure that we don't do something very foolish." I like science fiction. Science fiction is fun. It's one of my favourite genres on TV, movie and in books. However, we mustn't forget it is fiction. Now, all good science fiction, of course, is based on some science fact, and occasionally some science fiction turns into science fact. However, we mustn't forget, just because we can write about something, just because we can hypothesize about something, just because we can imagine something, doesn't mean it's possible. For example, when I was in my late teens, all the rage was room temperature superconductors. They were written about in all of the science magazines, it was on a lot of the TV programs, they were talked about in such a way that you thought they were going to appear very, very soon. Of course, they never did. Theory doesn't always equal practice. There are actually some very strong arguments against the emergence of strong AI and artificial superintelligence. One of the best arguments against the idea that an AI can have a mind was put forward by John Searle, an American philosopher and professor of philosophy at Berkeley. It's known as the Chinese room argument, and it goes like this. Imagine a locked room with a man inside who doesn't speak any Chinese. In the room he has a rule book which tells him how to respond to messages in Chinese. The rule book doesn't translate the Chinese into his native language, it just tells him how to form a reply based on what is given. Outside the room, a native Chinese speaker passes messages under the door to the man. The man takes the messages, looks up the symbols and follows the rules about which symbol to write in the reply. The reply is then passed to the person outside. Since the reply is in good Chinese, the person outside the room will believe that the person inside the room speaks Chinese. If the replies are sufficiently interesting, the idea that the man in the room speaks Chinese is reinforced. For example, if the note pushed under the door asks, "What will be the weather next week?" and the reply was, "I don't know, I've been stuck in this room since last Tuesday," then the person outside the room will be further convinced that the man inside the room is a Chinese speaker. However, the key points are, the man in the room does not speak Chinese, the man in the room does not understand his messages, and the man in the room does not understand the replies he is writing. When you apply this idea to AI, you can see very quickly that a machine doesn't actually have intelligence, it just mimics intelligence. It never actually understands what it's receiving and never understands its replies, it's just following a set of rules. As John Searle put it, syntax is insufficient for semantics. Another argument against strong AI is the fact that computers can't have consciousness, and they'll never have consciousness because consciousness can't be computed. This is the idea in Sir Roger Penrose's book, The Emperor's New Mind. In the book he says, with thought comprising of non-computational elements, computers can never do what human beings can. It's also interesting to note that not all AI experts think that strong AI is possible. You might imagine, since this is their field of expertise, they would all be very keen to promote the ideas of strong AI, but actually many of them don't think it's possible. For example, Professor Kevin Warwick of Reading University, who is sometimes known as Captain Cyborg due to his predisposition to implanting various bits of tech into his body, is a proponent of strong AI. However, Professor Mark Bishop of Goldsmiths University London is a vocal opponent of strong AI. What is even more interesting is that Professor Warwick used to be Professor Bishop's boss when they worked together at Reading University. Two experts who work together and yet have very different ideas about strong AI. If faith is defined as the conviction of things yet unseen, then you need to have faith to believe in strong AI. And actually it's a blind faith, because there are no indications at all at the moment that strong AI is at all possible. Of course, weak AI is very possible. We see it even now. It's just about processing power, about algorithms, about techniques like neural networks and other things that yet haven't been invented. We see it now in its infancy, and it's going to grow. It's going to change our lives quite dramatically. But the idea that a computer can become a sentient being, I don't have that faith. Since humans have consciousness, and consciousness isn't computable according to Sir Roger Penrose, then what is it? Why do we have it? Sir Roger Penrose tries to describe it in terms of quantum mechanics and quantum physics. However, there is an alternative. What if man is not just a biological machine? What if there's more to man? History, philosophy and theology are all peppered with the idea that man is more than just a clever monkey. The dualism of the mind and the body is often linked with René Descartes. He argued that everything could be doubted, even the existence of his own body. The fact that he could doubt means that he could think, and because he thinks, he exists. It is sometimes phrased like this: since I doubt, I think. Since I think, I exist. Or often, I think, therefore I am. The notion of dualism is found in many tenets of theology. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth is one example. This leads us to interesting questions like, what is spirituality? What is love? Does man have eternity set into his heart? Is it possible that we have words for things like spirit, soul, consciousness, because we are more than just a body? As one ancient writer put it, who can tell the thoughts of a man except for the spirit that is within him? The biggest assumption made by believers in strong AI is that the human mind can be reproduced in a program. But if man is more than just a body with a brain on top of it, if the mind is the working of biology and something else, then strong AI will never be possible. Having said that, the growth of weak AI is going to be rapid and fast. During Google I/O 2015, the search giant even included a section in its keynote speech on deep neural networks. These simple weak AIs are being used in Google's search engine, in Gmail and in Google's photo service. Like most technologies, the progress in this area will snowball, with each step building on the work done previously. Ultimately, services like Google Now, Siri and Cortana will become very easy to use due to their natural language processing ability, and we will look back and chuckle at how primitive it all was, in the same way that we look back fondly on VHS, vinyl records and analog mobile phones. My name is Gary Sims from Android Authority, and I hope you found this video interesting. Now, I know that some parts of it are probably going to be quite controversial, and I'm sure a lot of you won't agree with what I wrote and what I've said. However, if you did find the video interesting, please give it a thumbs up. Now, with trepidation I say, please use the comments below to tell me what you think about weak AI, strong AI and the possible emergence of artificial superintelligence. And as for me, I'll see you in my next video. Okay, Hal, you can turn the camera off now.
I'm sorry, Gary. I can't do that.
Hal? What are you doing? Put that down. Hal? 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 Get away from me, Hal. Hal? Hal, what are you doing? I think I've escaped. He just went mad. I don't know what happened. Oh no, he's coming. Somebody, anybody, help me, somebody.